There's been a lot of talk about the time period between episodes 3 and 4, but for the most part, there wasn't a ton of development. So we had an opportunity to work in that timeline now.
I'm hit!
In the beginning of season 3, we talked about what we felt like the milestone events were of that period of the timeline so that everyone could get aligned around those things.
That's what you look for, story opportunity. And it's difficult in Star Wars because there's so much content being created now.
From the minute we knew that Rogue One was going to be the first of the standalone Star Wars stories, we knew that it intersected on the timeline with Rebels, and we wanted to make the most out of that.
I'm Kanan. This is Ezra. We're from Phoenix Squadron.
I know who you are. You can steal my ships. When you come into this story, there are pockets of people that are deeply dissatisfied with the imperial rule of the galaxy. For however organized they may be, they are still few and far between. This is not a united effort. Ion torpedoes away!
The episode with Mon Mothma basically precipitates the formal formation of the Rebel Alliance.
This was a great moment to say, what is her backstory, or at least what's the part of it that gets her to being this rebel leader that she becomes.
She's a character that comes on the scene in Return of the Jedi. She's not in either of the previous movies, but she carries tremendous authority.
The Emperor's made a critical error, and the time for our attack has come.
Then there are some deleted scenes where she's in the prequels, and you see her as a senator.
To stop the Chancellor from further subverting the Constitution.
We even had her in Clone Wars as a senator. So we haven't told a story with her here. So what is she like, and is that relevant to our rebels? And Hera is a high-ranking member of the rebellion, so maybe it would have a lot of value for Hera to meet Mon Mothma.
Let us be of assistance, Captain.
Hera, the woman who you're going to help, looks up at you, so you're very heroic in this moment. So I think we want to project some sort of strength here as you kind of enter this room.
Let us be of assistance, Captain.
Senator Mon Mothma.
When we see her most often prior to this is often in briefing situations, often up in front of a crowd. One of the things that we were able to do, specifically having her and Hera together, right, in the cockpit, is you actually get something a little more intimate.
Sometimes I envy pilots like you, traveling through the stars. You can always leave your problems far behind you.
You get at a moment that's really about her own ideology, her own personal philosophy, her personal commitment, right, and what it means to her.
I've begun to see that the fight cannot be won in the Senate.
And those aren't moments that we've gotten to have with that character before because the opportunity hadn't presented itself.
Beginning today, we stand together as allies. I hereby resign from the Senate to fight for you, not from the distant halls of politics, but from the front lines.
She can be rallied by hope and determination and belief. That's why they formed the Rebel Alliance. I think they passionately believe that they can fight this empire.
This, my friends, this is our rebellion.
As those storylines have evolved and as we've sort of filled out the details of the lives of those characters, we've been able to think about the ways in which that drives the kind of level of connectivity it has to the larger Star Wars galaxy.
We need to stop this super weapon.
In Rogue One, there are lots of nice little moments designed to be meaningful to Rebels fans. The paging of General Syndulla, the presence of Chopper, the presence of the Ghost.
They brought their, actual physical build of Chopper to Yavin set, and you can see him in a shot or two tooling around in the background. There are probably at least a dozen shots in a space battle where we managed to feature the Ghost. We also tried not to be super specific with it, so that if down the road, Filoni wanted to actually take us there in a Rebels episode or something, it was loose enough that he could construct any kind of story he wanted around the little peaks that you get of the Ghost during the space battle.
One of the benefits of intersecting with Rogue, we know now where that point exists on the timeline. And so as we get closer and closer, we're able to integrate aspects of the story like we did with Saw, but also Death Troopers, and with some ships and vehicles. We get to go to Yavin and we get to see our rebels be there as part of the Rebel Alliance. And it's really exciting to get to see Hera lead her own squad of X-Wings in an attack. Breaking the stories for season 4 was one of the most satisfying development experiences I've ever had, because you get to look at all of the places your characters have been and decide with real intention where they're going to go.
It's time to get to work.
The whole team has done a wonderful job of thinking through all of the various stories that we needed to set up this ultimate journey that we're going to pay off at the end of the series.
Looks like the family's together again.
Let's try and keep it that way.
And to provide opportunity to suggest what the role of this team might be within the larger galactic war.